All right, folks, it is 5:18. We are ready to start the property hearings. These are usually informal events. As anyone who's been to any of these, but basically, Carrie, Amy, I'll turn it over to you guys.
We just missed 109 Elizabeth Avenue. So we have 113 West Fifth Avenue, burned and dilapidated building. Is anyone here for that structure? 113 West Fifth.
What's going on over there, Carrie?
The owner of the property came in a couple of weeks ago, said they were gonna return and obtain a demolition permit, but have not returned. Received no further communication from them.
How bad a shape is it? They had a house fire over there?
Oh, yes, sir, it's directly to the, west of Paul's Glass. It's pretty well gutted.
Just one right behind Paul.
Yes,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty good fire. Was that owner occupied or was that a rental?
at the time, it was occupied, but no one was at home at the time of the fire. It was all-
Then it's not
So they worked with it. I don't know the exact details, but no, but they, I think they're just gonna vacate the property, abandon it or sell it. I don't. They came in and said they were gonna get a permit, but they have not returned since then.
What kind of time period are we talking? What was your last contact when they told you that?
A couple of weeks ago, I've got notated on at work, but they bring that, but, it's, I think if, perhaps we set a deadline on it, send another letter to a deadline, make a decision. But, it really is just, you know, the neighbors have asked about it, it's obvious safety hazard, all that. And, but I don't know until if they return, I don't have any further information at this time.
You said they were coming to get a demolition permit?
That's what the lady said a couple of weeks ago, but now, unlike the one on Elizabeth Avenue, the gentleman did come in and get the demolition permit, but the owner of Fifth Avenue had not returned. And she knew the meeting was tonight, and I said, well, if you have any problems or delays, please come to the meeting and explain to the office and board, or with the board and there. And, of course, she's not here.
Your suggestion would be first meeting in December, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, perhaps we revisit it, and if nothing is obtained by that time, to proceed with condemnation.
We're having a property hearing on that day.
So we need to revisit
We're in
the
regular
regular
meeting.
meeting.
Sure.
Would the board be willing to go?
Or make that motion to table it until first meeting in December.
Second. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Next one is dismissed. 115 West 9th Avenue. Anybody here for that? Oh, wait, that one's already, they've gotten a permit for that. So 209 Sun Circle, they here? Hey, come on up, gang. Hey, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good, how are y'all?
Hey, what's happening? What's going on over there?
Just have a village house and haven't had the sources or people that can get in there and get it done. They kind of relied or thought that they family on it to help me. And, going to review
Are you-
setbacks.
You're still staying there right now, right?
I have moved out when the air conditioning went out, I had to leave. So I go every day. Unfortunately, there's outside cats I have to go feed every day, but I just have to do it. But I'm not living there. I do have still water on, but, and I go in and I picked up limbs this week, for this past weekend, and I'm trying to do a little alone.
Carrie, what kind of shape is it in? When's the last time you looked at it? Today?
Yesterday, and, it's been this way for several years now, hasn't it, Matt?
It was hit by the January 2017 tornado, and I lived in it till the air conditioning went out, doing a little alone, as me and my son could do.
What is it, the roof? What's the,
It is the roof and that sidewall there,
The wall fell in on my.
and I don't know if there's any internal damage, of course, but, so, yeah, I know it's basically, it was becoming uninhabitable, but, you know, at one time, she was living there. But, it's just been continued, I think, I've talked to you several occasions, and I kept, extending the timeline, but it's reached the point we have the hearing now.
He came by one day and did speak with me at the time I was doing house sitting with an elderly couple, plus my mother lives an hour away, so I split my time between you and Lucille, and I'm a little bit worn thin. Plus, unfortunately, I lost my son in April of last year, so I'm not doing real well. But I'm doing,
What's your plans with the building?
my neighbor has, said he offered to help me get the column set and the carpet fixed to where we can get a roof put on it. And he's gonna be there in between his work. So I talked with him after the first notice was on my door, and he's offered to help me, so.
If I could say something,
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been friends with her for 40 years, and we're good friends, and I just learned this yesterday. I've got some contractor contacts and friends that we can get this taken care of for her in a timely manner. But she's just been overwhelmed. I mean, I can only imagine what I would be if I lost my daughter. I'd probably just have her be right next to her. But she's coming back slowly but surely, but she's been going through a struggle. And we just found each other on Facebook recently and rekindled our relationship, and I'm gonna do everything I can to help her in this situation.
Good. We've always tried as a board and administration, anybody that's making an effort trying to do the right thing, we've always tried to give them plenty of time, obviously.
Well, when she mentioned her son, I knew she was going downhill from there, so I kind of want to let you know that we do have a plan, but it's very young, because I just got involved yesterday.
That's fine. What, anybody on the board, what, time-wise, what y'all think?
I'm thinking if we have a little bit of just some forewarning that we're gonna be able to do some stuff, then we give as much time in that, because it's in my ward, I've taken a look at the house a few times, and I knew your situation before coming here, and so we definitely wanna work with you. I believe our longest timeline tends to be about 3 months.
Yeah.
Then,
The first order of business that I saw driving by, is to get a roof on it, just to make sure there's no further damage
yes,
to the inside, and that alone will help the appearance of it a whole lot, just getting those roof tarps going.
and what is the timeline you think that would take?
Probably, how construction is right now, I don't know, I haven't talked to any of my contacts yet.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking just as soon as we can, she's got some money in 401k she's got access to, so I'm just gonna kind of help her spearhead it, so to speak. Really, she's not been in the frame of mind to do anything.
We give you 90 days to,
Check that in.
check, no matter.
We'll go with that, and we'll keep you apprised of what our progress is.
Keep in touch with Kerry, if anything big happens, he'll be back in touch on occasion. And I think that'll actually, obviously, we wanna work with you, obviously.
Thank you, sir.
And I think that'll show the neighbors as well, and I'm sure they're concerned as well. They may not know the whole story, as well, but, anything we can do to help out, just let us know. So we'll say, is there a motion to do, 90 days?
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you,
Carrie, check back in if you need anything or we can help out, let us know.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
119 South Main Street, anybody here for that?
Randy Walker was walking by.
Hey, yeah, Randy, come in.
We got it set up to do Thursday.
Oh, okay, cool.
We planned on doing it last week, this problem was everybody else took more time to do it.
Which, what business is there?
A mission store.
That's what I thought, okay, I saw something when it pulled up on on Google Maps, it kind of had a weird.
Fred Jordan.
And I've got busy doing something else and didn't ride by or anything, but, if y'all have that taken care of, I guess, all we would do is check it at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we do, I appreciate you jumping on there. There's a motion to check it for, what, the 14 days? The second, all in favor? Oh. You caught that, Terry?
Yes.
I should say, you catch that name?
I got it.
Alrighty, 100 Leeville Road.
I spoke to them yesterday, they said they were gonna be here to explain the progress for that.
This is a revisit.
This is-
Yes, it is from,
100, 110 Leeville Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's route daughter
will note that we did find out, were you the one that made the visit today, Kerry, over there?
So, going to the gentleman, they burned some debris, which I've asked them to stop doing. And, they moved some stuff around, but, nothing of appreciable difference within, I think it's been like 3 months.
You spoke with the construction folks over at the church.
I
today.
did, across,
Appreciative of, if y'all see any action over there with them, that's the county actually gonna do some riprap up in there, so appreciative of, their effort over there. We sent Kerry over there because we weren't sure what they were up to, and we saw dirt near the creek, so
it's gonna be.
that gives you a visit from Kerry.
But, yeah, I thought the crafts would be here for sure, because they seemed enthusiastic about explaining their lack of work, but they're not here. So.
Yeah.
It's an option where we can, ask the court to take it under that manner, use the court method.
I mean, you know where you can find them.
Yep, I mean, because I think that's,
It's,
you could do that, but we've got like a dual track, we can't really start it from here, but I know that Carrie's familiar with that process, we've used that process in the past.
Would give them more time too.
Oh, it'll be, it's nothing, it doesn't happen quick, it's not gonna happen any quicker.
Also, a method that has worked some time in the past is scheduling city street department to do a minimum of cleanup, sending them the bill, and that will motivate them
To go on and get it done.
or the court system, whichever way y'all decide.
So if we send streets, they'll go out there and clean off the property as far as
But, yeah,
the
you wouldn't,
abandoned vehicles, we'll have to take care of that later.
you wouldn't necessarily have to clean all the property, just, a truckload or two. I'm sure the bill is gonna be a few $100s, I don't know. Send them the bill immediately, they'll
Like
find
a fence or something like that,
Sorry?
like the fence.
Yeah, the fence could be one aspect, or the collapsed structure there, there's vast amount of debris to choose from back there, just anything.
And
That is
like
worth
Is there a motion to maybe give them 10 days and we'll send street in, those are, maybe I'll push the appropriate paper, and then we can get street over there, I'll talk to Mike on specifically what that would look like. So is there a second? All in favor? Voted there. Well, we can record that. 309 West Central. Mr. Jimmy now, that's that one down there we talked about earlier, wasn't it? What's going on?
Well, I've been working on these projects, but I hadn't done nearly about as much as I was asked to get done by this time. But I'm working on it, and, I'm asking for more time, and I will continue to try to satisfy all that's involved in this.
What's the, I know you had talked about rehabbing the barn. I know it's got some decent wood in it, but a lot of it's pretty rough, isn't it?
It won't make any difference to me. The only thing that concerned me is it's over 100 years old. I traced it back to 1913. A guy named, who I don't have any idea who he is, G.R. Odom, and he owned all the way back through, Where Clinton Lumber Company, and he sold the land where Clinton Lumber Company used to be, because McKinnis Lumber Company formed a sawmill back there in 1913. So this barn was built somewhere between 1913 and 1940, when Mr. Archie Lee built that White House there on 309. Central Avenue. So, the old barn's 100 years old. We found the signs that it was a fire hall at one time, and it had living quarters up above it. I just didn't really want to tear it down, but, I got so many things going, I just hadn't had time to fool with it. I'd still like to try to fix it, but if y'all should want it tore down, I'll get a permit and tear it down. Just what it takes to get along with everybody. But I can't tell y'all that I'll do it in a certain time because my wagon's pretty well loaded every day.
That's what I was fixing to ask on that side of it.
As I talked to you today, I've got a lot of obligations that I have to fulfill. And my tax load, as I told you today, is $6,000 a year. And I gotta have that up in time to do that. And, but I will do my best to suit everybody, but I just gotta have the time to do it.
Any idea, gang, what the will of the board is? I know we've been talking about this one for a little while. Seems like Mr. Jim Dale,
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we go ahead and burn it down. Sir, you have the means more so than a lot of other constituents. And I know you have a lot of properties on this list, but, more so than someone only has one property to deal with. So if you're offering to burn it down, I say we go ahead and give them 10 days to burn it down. Second that.
would not be a candidate for, chief?
We can't do demolition work, the city can't do demolition work, DEQ would not appreciate that. And that's all that would be, we couldn't get any attorney around it.
Okay. Or to tear it down, how many days did we say?
We've already given 90. Reason to say is, you know, there's, I think a list of 5 or 6 properties, and I don't know, we're gonna go through them individually. But if you, and regardless of your other obligations, you know, we're looking at each property as an individual entity and issue.
Excuse me, I'm a little hard here.
Okay, well, we're looking at each entity, and this is the first property. And I haven't seen any progress on this property at all.
There's been some there, but not a lot. With the little storage building in front of it. We've done some there, but that's around the barn itself. We haven't done anything.
And so that's my recommendation, is we move forward, doing our due diligence and cleaning up the community. That's what we're asking. Go ahead.
But now, we cleaned up around it, but we hadn't actually done any repair on it.
Did you say 10 or 30 days?
What did we, when this was granted an extension last time, was that 60 days? 90?
You said 3
months past the first.
Significant improvement on the barn.
and tear down the greenhouse, yeah.
If we said 30 and all of a sudden Mr. Jubedale decides
Now,
to,
I'm not gonna promise I can do that.
and I think typically we just
said
want
30 days.
that's what I'm saying, we didn't want to be complete with it, but either torn down or, you know, we would end up tearing it down or, or.
We'll get the fire department to burn it down if it comes down.
Well, we can't really, that's not really an option. And I think the concern, Mr. Jindal, is, you know, I hear that you're busy, you know, but to hear you say that, you know, if we extended 30 more days, that you couldn't do it in that time, you know, we just extended it 120 days. So I don't know that there's an answer of, you know, what is an acceptable time frame. You know, we've got to have some kind of.
Okay, it's been sitting there 100 years. Why has it gotten so important that we gotta do it in the next 30 days or the next 60 days?
Because, sir, it's been taking this long to do it, and I mean, especially, I know we have new members coming in, we have old members coming in who have already been given these properties chances, new members. We just kind of see a pattern that if we continue to give chances and continue to give chances, then
Well, you
it'll
just
be
tell me
30
what you
days
want
or
me to
90
do,
days,
and I'll
it'll
try
be
to do it.
not done.
And that's, you know, that's the only thing I know. Not any of y'all has got the load on y'all that I've got. So, but I'll do whatever y'all ask me to do. I always have done. I've been in that spot down there 80 years. And, we moved there in 1940. And so that's a part of my life down there. Now, the Lee house we're talking about, I just bought it 4 or 5 years ago. But Mr. Archie Lee was a neighbor and a friend of ours for years and years who built the house. And the barn was there before he built the house. So y'all just tell me what you want me to do.
Jackson, say, 30 days, because they're fixing to get into Thanksgiving anyway, so there won't be any movement on the city side more than likely. That puts us, to the first week of, December.
Yeah, I'll make a motion for 30 days.
There is some movement there now.
30 days for what?
Yeah, let's define what we expect to see in
I
30
think
days.
we would,
To have it torn down. Or we can go in and
I
assist
don't
with
think
that.
Jim Dale's going to tear it down, but if he decides in the next 30 days that he wants to start making some movement on it, then we can revisit it on our first meeting and we're just deciding the difference between 10 days and 30 days now.
Sir, you own any heavy equipment?
Try to keep in mind now, we've got these holidays coming up. And, so I think 30 days is short, but I'll do what I can.
Sir, you own a lot of things. You own heavy equipment like a bulldozer?
I do.
Yes, 30 days.
Motion, is there a second?
I'm not clear on the motion. 30 days to what?
To tear it down,
Tear it down.
to have it,
Does that include, cleaning the property? Does it just come so we have a pile of wood? Is that
I
sufficient?
think that would mean we would.
yeah, we would clean, tear it down, clean it up, get it to
They're obviously going to break some days time if he decided to
level.
Just want to make sure that.
come in and make improvements.
Okay, just where I understand everything. If we make some progress on it in 30 days, it can be extended or 30 days the deadline.
Yeah, you're gonna come see me if you start doing something over there in the next 30 days. And that doesn't mean on day 31, we're in there tearing it down. It means we'll put it on the stack of list, to get in there and take care of it. Obviously, we prefer not to do that,
I
but
don't think that's the motion on the table.
The motion on the table is the bulldozer.
yeah,
Down to the ground.
yeah.
Over there. We passed that.
We hadn't voted it yet. That's the first time.
That's just the motion.
But if it's not done in that 30-day time frame, what we're saying, the next step would be for us to go in, and what Tony's saying is that doesn't mean on day 31, we're gonna have people down there.
But he's saying here that if you show him repair, will we stop the motion? And that answer is no.
No, that's not.
That's what he's saying.
That's where Tony said, come see him, and then if something's done in 2 weeks, we
Yeah, bring
revisit
that
the
back
progress,
down.
not revisit on our end, but.
It's not, and we're gonna. So anyway, got a motion in a second, Lynn? All in favor?
Aye.
All righty,
And then what we decided that.
30 days, in 30 days, you're probably not gonna do much on that thing in the next 30 days.
I can't,
I mean, you got other priorities.
it would be limited, I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, no, that's understandable. After 30 days, we would basically,
We go in and demo,
Authorized.
we go in and start it.
yeah, the public works would be authorized to come in there and tear it down and haul it off and clean it off.
I mean, if it came down, like I said, I gotta go run, push it out to the road for you.
Okay.
But,
We would prefer you to do that.
and,
But no, not to the road, I didn't hear that part.
like last time, I like the ones that's involved in that area to come and look at the situation and see if this is what you really want. If it is, I'm gonna get along with you. I'm gonna do what it takes to please that right.
And so I have looked at the property and I've also talked to a lot of people in the area, just to be clear. And like I say, I buy some of the worst properties and I turn them into livable homes. It's where I make the most of my income.
Now, the reason I asked you that, we found indication that it was one of the first fire halls in Kelly. The pumper, the pushes fire, that was all wrong. But we found indications that, and there's some people that knew about it being a fire hall, an earlier fire hall, nothing like a fire truck, but just a pumper that was running, had living quarters up above it. And, the front of it is in good shape, the rear part of it, it's got damage on it. And, but, yeah, like I said, y'all tell me what you want to do, and we'll do my best to do it.
Right, 403, 405, and 417 West Central.
Mm-hmm.
What, is that,
That's just as you come in before the railroad track.
okay. That's all the vehicles out on Highway 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what you got going on over there? Now, you got rid of some of them by the railroad tracks.
Well, that wasn't none in mine,
Oh,
that was Reagan.
Reagan stuff.
And most of that, a good part of that stuff is Reagan, and there at the shop. And some of it out there is mine. But, again, me and my dad went in the car business there in 1960. And, so we've, been involved with cars there for 60 years, before he passed away in 76. But I've continued to move with that, and along with my properties that I bought, dear and after that time. But, me, I don't see a lot of problem with it. And I don't see where anybody's giving y'all, a lot of complaints about it. I hadn't heard anybody complain to me about it. But, again, we've done some improvements, but I'll continue to do some other. It's my intentions to start trying to get out of it myself. But I've got so many of them, it's gonna take some time. So, again, you tell me what you want me to do, and I'll start trying to do it.
Gary, any idea of how many vehicles we're talking about? Or do you know, Jimmy, that?
I'd say in that area there, counting, now, like I said now, Reagan's got 30 or 40, and I probably got 50 or 60.
My last count was approximately 120. And if you're speaking of Reagan, the
We're
CD
talking about just the,
I'm sorry,
you're talking about just on that side of the street.
Oh, I was,
That's you over there
Oh,
on the
no,
other side,
no.
it's fenced in, right?
the pawn shop, Central, I
Yeah.
apologize, I was putting it off, I apologize about
Oh,
that.
those lots have about 120.
Yeah.
And you know where Reagan, you know where the
Reagan,
dividing line is?
is Reagan the repairman that
Yeah.
runs anything automotive? He expressed to me that very few of those vehicles were his, only the ones with the tags, and the other ones without tags were your vehicles, of course. I have no way of understanding that.
That's not true.
Okay, but you can see the pictures behind the shop there, the dilapidated vehicles, the debris that's still there, has nothing to do with the vehicles.
What's there now?
Tires, junk, I'm
None
not
of that's mine, none of that's mine.
It's on your property.
But I'll see that it's taken care of, but that is not mine.
Gary, what would, or this might be an Amy question, what would it take for him to come into compliance there? Every inoperable vehicle? What is the board?
And I'll speak a little bit to this, and I just want you to understand, I heard you say that, people aren't complaining about this. And I want to give you every assurance in the world that they most definitely are. And this isn't just people in Ward 1 who are complaining about this. A lot of people in federal and other wards are complaining about this. This is one of the main entrances to our city. I'm looking at this picture right here, and I can see my house. You turned what's not technically my front yard, but figuratively, you turned my front yard into a junkyard. And I would really appreciate it if we could get that through.
Where do you live?
Well, I'm right here by Stephen Street, by Railroad Street. I'd rather not just really shout out my address on a public forum. But
You on Railroad Street?
I do not own this street, no, sir. But,
I mean, do you live on Railroad Street or Stevens Street?
I live on Stephen Street.
Okay. Well,
And I really don't think that you would appreciate the same thing in return. This is right in front of my neighborhood, right in front of my house, and it's a junkyard.
well, to you, it's a junkyard. To me, it's a bunch of cars that I own that's for sale. And, you know, you got opinion and I got opinion. But it's my job to try to please y'all. So that's what I'm gonna do my best to do, to tell me what you want me to do. But the tires and anything that Jerry just mentioned is not mine, but I will see that it's cleaned up.
Sir, I've been living in this town for 26 years. Long before you had the easy to get around, you had to go that way. That's been an eyesore in the city for as long as I've been here.
Okay.
And it needs to be, I know that one man's trash is another man's treasure, but your treasure is what everybody sees when they drive into the city. It's gotta go.
Well,
We're not being mean about this, but it's been going on for 30, 40, 50 years. And it's got to be addressed. And one of the reasons why we're here, all of us specifically, were to clean up this city. And this is the entrance to the city. So it will be cleaned up.
okay.
What is the will of the board?
I'll motion that we give him 30 days to completely clean it up. I will go with it.
Is there a second?
But can we define clean up? Because does that mean?
To the ground.
Not all non-registered vehicles, they're not, it removes all inoperable vehicles.
To my understanding, that's not even zoned as a.
Removes all inoperable vehicles.
And so I would like to clarify exactly, if they're all running, are we allowed to have 120 vehicles on that property?
I think zoned as car lot.
So really, whether or not they're operable is not an issue. If any, so how many vehicles are allowed to be there? I'm not clear. I did kind of go through the ordinance, I'm not sure.
That's not the.
We do need to look at that. I think it's like 2 per bay, which isn't enough, but obviously we've got numbers way over that. If we drive around downtown, you'll see that. It's not unusual, most towns are.
Would it be possible for us to come up with the numbers?
Yes, some form of probably need to, that we think is fair. I mean, you see, it's, I mean, highway 11.
I mean, there's multiple ordinances that are being violated. So, you know, we've got an ordinance about inoperable vehicle, and that's the one we mostly discussed, but I don't doubt that it's in violation of the zoning ordinance.
My concern is that we're gonna have a situation where, how do we know if a vehicle's running? Or not?
Well, I think, and Carrie can speak to this, but I think traditionally it's, do we have current tags on it? If we got a current tag on it, then we assume that it's operable. None of them have current tags on it. And so as far as we're concerned, they're all inoperable, especially when you look at them. You get, they're clearly not operating.
Rocky, would it be appropriate for the board, to have those numbers cut below 50 within 30 days? Regardless of whether or not they're running?
I would just say
There's
that
120. If we,
Separated between both lots, 120 out on the one side, the other one, that fenced-in area.
That's the
I
legal.
don't know what the difference
That's
is.
the total, that's the all the properties, I'm sorry.
I mean, you're saying that this is not zoned, correct, for this?
Not for
Better known than 120.
a car lot.
So not only do we need all inoperable vehicles gone, we just need all vehicles gone until it's zoned properly. Is that correct?
Yes, on those
that can be your motion. In 30 days, they're all gone. Or we remove them.
But then look, you got a grandfather clause in there, you know, that I've been there 80 years.
Well, that doesn't mean that you don't have to comply with city ordinance. You've had 80 years to comply with city ordinance, or at least since 1974, so I'll take that back.
And you or anyone can sell 24 cars a year without a license. That's state law.
That's
It
irrelevant.
don't say how many you can have. It says you can sell 24 a year.
We got ordinances that say where we can have certain kinds of businesses, sir. And we got ordinances about inoperable vehicles. So you're violating more than just one ordinance.
I'm sure not gonna get in an argument with you, but, just understand that I've been there 60 years. And
That's why it's past time for it to be fixed.
And I've got some rights as well as you got some rights.
That's why we've been giving you so much time, sir, is that we've been looking out for your rights. And then 90 days ago or 120 days ago, your daughter was here and crying, and everybody felt a little sympathy, so they gave you 90 days, and they ain't seen no progress. So this is where we are.
Some progress there, but I'm not telling you there's been a lot.
Is there currently a motion?
I hadn't heard one.
I made the motion.
Yeah, well, you did. Do you want,
30 days to remove all vehicles?
Yes.
I'll second that.
all vehicles and debris?
I'm telling you, that's too short a time.
So are there's vehicles here that you say you're gonna sell them, they're dirty, there's brush going around them. You wanna get a car crush in there, you can get them and get your money back. For 30 days.
I see that loader sitting way back behind, back
It goes
up.
back, it goes back. If you go back and take pictures of it.
You can go all over, about back.
And we're working on it.
Yeah.
They all
Start the process.
Okay, y'all-
I don't think there is, I don't want to say, a bad situation, but I know it's a bad situation, but at the same time, if we see progress, we're gonna work with you. And I think that's what, the board wants to see more than anything. Obviously, we'd like this all to be cleared up in the first year, but at the same time, if you're gonna make some movements and make some efforts on your side. If not, we're gonna kind of be backed into a corner where we'll end up having to do something.
I'm really,
You know,
Well, I'll
available anytime.
start trying to make an arrangement to do something. And I'll stay in contact with you and you through the board. And, we'll go from there.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Are we talking about the first year now, or are we talking about the 30 days?
30 days.
30 days. And
I'll tell you, that's too short time.
403, 405.
But,
I thought y'all knew.
I'm gonna suggest you call a car crushing company, get them up there, they'll pay you.
sir, I
for
can't
your car.
crush the car.
You don't have to, there's companies that all will come up and do it.
I know they do it, but you can't crush something, for $200 that you got several $100s in. That's the reason I'm saying, you ain't walking my shoes and I ain't walking yours, but,
Keep them there, posted, Jimmy, we'll work through this. 400 West Central Avenue.
We group those together. 400 West Central Highway 11 and 920 Highway 11.
all this is the same property. That, it all,
All the,
Yeah.
all
It's all
together.
that.
20.
All that.
So we need to re-vote on this.
Yeah, we can do it for all of them.
We'll make it in the minutes where it'll incorporate all of that section. That's it, Mr. Jimmy Dowd.
Yes.
That's it for now, Mr. Jimmy Dowd.
Okay.
We've got some revisits.
113.
Yeah, are y'all, through with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Jimmy Dowd.
Thank you, sir.
113
Green.
113 Green, anybody that's here for that?
Yes, sir. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, I was in the middle and I made the process of purchasing the property.
How'd that turn out?
I brought this from
When do you think you'll close on
I
it?
just met with the appraiser, that's what I was waiting on last time, I just met with him last night. I'm not exactly sure when, but
This is a pre-approval of a loan, so they're pushing papers, so you can close on it. We'll make a copy of that. How much time do you think you need to make this happen?
like I said, it's my first one.
Uh,
I have no clue. It should be
Yeah.
pretty quick now. I think that was all it was waiting on.
You want to check back first meeting of the, next of December?
I would be, cool with that.
If there's a motion, the first meeting of December, we can check back in on
Make that
that.
motion.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you for recognizing our city.
210 East Central.
Yes.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, how you guys?
Is this the old library?
Yes.
What's happening over there?
I've been out of town and, I know the building had gone down, plan to recover the building. I talked to Andy Sullivan, I think he sent you a text to, he's gonna come in and get me out. On reach and maybe, but I would really like to restore the building. So my plan is, I know it's, about security. I noticed the, roof got a hole in it, so my first plan is to, go in and repair that. And, from there, I'll probably have to board up the, bottom windows because they're in real bad shape. But I would just board them up, I'll board them up and paint the boards, to make it decent. And, from that point, I'll start, replacing the, damaged boards and stuff. And hopefully, in the, next 9 days, I'll paint the roof.
We've had several people contact us, I don't know if anybody's interested in selling it, or are you not interested in selling it?
I really want to recover it, I will, I'm not pushing that out, I will take offers on it, but I would rather, start some work on it.
Yeah, I know we got some of the, press here that's done a story on it, they may have some questions for you on it too, because we would love for it to be.
Yeah, because it's a historical building.
Yeah,
It is, it's a historical building, so that's one of the reasons that the vision for that building, of course, at first, it was a church that we had, and I got involved into doing disaster recovery, ministry, and I've been just moved around for the last, 15 years. So, that's the reason the building's in the shape it's in, but,
Sir, how long have you owned the building?
since 98.
I'd love to see old buildings, restored, it's my passion.
Mine also.
One day I might rebuild a car, it'd be fancy, but I usually, go with old houses.
Yeah.
And it makes me really happy to see an old building that's been restored in town.
That's been my dream for that building.
Now, I've been in Belleville for, around 15 years, and I've only seen it continually get worse. And so there's a lot of concern there. I've even been interested in what that building might be. Now, as a board member, it would be appropriate for me to approve that, but I can tell you a lot of people have asked.
Yeah.
And just like we just mentioned here, a lot of people are curious. What you're telling me you're planning on doing, what I just heard you say, is you want to board up windows and you want to patch it.
Well, that's just to secure the building, because right now it's open, it's been vandalized. That's just to get the building secure. Yeah.
So how much, do you think it will cost to get that building in a state that it needs to be in?
And may I add how much time?
Well, it'll take a couple $100,000. I do construction myself, and that's me doing a lot of the work myself.
And I do all my work myself too, so I have a lot of respect for what you're saying.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's not usually about the work, because I'm still alive. It's usually about time and money. And so I wanted to make sure you had a realistic estimate on what it would cost, and it sounds like you do.
Oh, yeah.
And then the time on that is the other thing. how long do you think that would take you to get that building in a, reasonable state?
You know, reasonable state, 6 months.
6 months?
I mean, because of, I don't have the sources right now to do.
Well, 6 months is actually
Yeah, I think that's a good time.
That's incredibly good.
yeah.
I mean, and that's getting it, you know, in shape to where, I won't say livable or occupiable, but at least have it to where it's presentable, what is it?
Okay, now, and you said that the roof, are you just patching the roof or are you putting a new roof?
The shingles on the roof is, they're good, but it is on the right, I think, here, on the right side, Liam broke the hole in it, so that's really what needs to be repaired, but the rest of the shingles, they're 35-year shingles, I put them on after, the trim.
Now you're a hard man to reach, are you gonna be in town for a while?
I'm closer now, I'm down on the coast, so, yeah, I'm closer now. Yeah.
What's your ultimate dream for the building?
To make it, for the community resource. That always has been the dream, to make a community resource.
Gary, what's the structural on the flooring and what is that?
Have you been inside?
It's been a couple of months, few months now.
Because of that hole, which caused more water damage, and there are some structural issues. You know, how much to do. And realizing, you know, the expense of everything, but there are some really valid safety, and the stairway in the back, of course, is unsigned.
Right, yeah.
So there's a lot to make it safe, then occupiable is a whole different aspect, that's a long-term project.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it won't be occupiable in 6 months, but I have it presentable, you know.
But, yeah, the terminology there may be, I don't know if y'all want to just patch to facially appear okay, or do you want to actually restore it? I don't know.
How about, we give that max time of 90 days and we say that what we'd like to see is that roof patch, and like you said, make it presentable. But we would also like your plans for the future of what you're going to do to move that to a state of being restored.
That's okay, I can do that.
I realize I sound, based on the last, citizen who was standing before you, I sound like the bad guy, but I'm not.
Oh,
I just want to see the best for the city.
No.
And historical structures are important to me.
They are community.
I know Gerald's very passionate about restoring old homes. So if you could do that, I'm for it as long as you're making progress.
And that would be the thing, sir, is in 90 days that we see that you're making that progress, then we'll be willing to work with you and further after that. It's not like 90 days is a hard cap or anything. It's guidance before it comes back before us. And we want to see where it's going and things like that. So.
Well, like I said, 90 days, my plan is to at least have the exterior paint, damage wood protected and stuff like that. So it will be,
Mr. Dixon, thank you for coming today, and actually, because like I said, it's all about communicating, you know, and letting us know what the plans are. I think that's really it's always the stress of not knowing what's going on.
right.
You know, and I think there's a lot of people who have some resources that will be willing to reach out and help you, and coordinate with you. And I know Valerie Wilson, who's behind you, is one I'll point out to you right now. And I'd ask you to coordinate with, like I said, you reach out and touch, coordinate with the mayor or with the building department. People who might want to reach out and assist in that, vision of yours, restoring that building.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming today and helping us out. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Everybody's even going through Tony, as long as you're informing Tony what's going on, we'll cover it.
Repair the roof and make it presentable, and then know what we're gonna do in the future.
And if we could just add that it needs to be secured,
Yeah, that's what that's our first plan, to make sure it's secure.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
That's it.
thank you.
We appreciate your
That's all.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
I can do the crazy thing and take 3 minutes if we need it.
Oh, we've already got that.
Okay,